For anyone who grew up feeling caught between two parents, this is for you. Today, we're talking about a tough topic: parental alienation. Specifically, what happens when you, the child, are now an adult, and you're left holding the pieces of a broken relationship. What can you do? How do you even begin to heal? Let's dive in. So, first things first, what can you, as an adult child who was alienated from a parent, actually do? The first step is acknowledging the pain, but without letting it define you. You've carried a heavy weight for a long, long time. It's okay to admit that it hurt. It's crucial, in fact. But your identity is not your trauma. You are more than what happened to you. Next, it's time to seek clarity about what you feel, not what you were told to feel. Alienation often involves being fed a specific narrative about the other parent. You were told they were dangerous, uncaring, or that they abandoned you. Your own feelings might have been dismissed or manipulated. Now, as an adult, you have the power to sit with yourself and ask, what do I actually feel? Is it anger, sadness, curiosity, confusion? All of it is valid. Don't judge your emotions. Just listen to them. If you decide you want to try and build a relationship with the alienated parent, the key is to reach out carefully. This isn't a race. It's about taking small, manageable steps. You don't need to dive into a deep, soul-bearing conversation right away. It could be as simple as sending a neutral text message or a short email. Something like, "Hi, I was thinking about you and wanted to say hello." See how that feels. See how they respond. And this brings me to a critical point. Protect your boundaries. Reconnecting should be a process of healing, not re-traumatizing. If you reach out and the response is negative, or if it feels overwhelming, you have every right to pull back. Your emotional safety is the top priority. A healthy reconnection is built on mutual respect, and that includes respecting your need for space and time. So many alienated children grow up believing they were the problem, that they were disloyal, ungrateful, or just wrong for wanting a relationship with their other parent. Let me be perfectly clear. You weren't. You were a kid, placed in an impossible situation that you did not create and did not choose. You did what you had to do to survive emotionally. Please, let go of that misplaced guilt. It was never your burden to carry. Now let's talk about one of the most painful scenarios. What if you try to reach out, or you finally do reconnect, and the father, or the alienated parent, blames you for the years of silence? What if they say, "Well, you never called, you never tried"? That is incredibly hard. It can feel like a punch to the gut, invalidating everything you went through. When a parent blames the child for the estrangement, it usually points to a few things. First, they are carrying their own unresolved hurt and pain. They might have spent years feeling rejected and abandoned themselves, and their blame is a defense mechanism. It's a shield to protect their own wounded heart. It could also mean they simply don't understand the dynamics of parental alienation. They might not realize the immense pressure you were under, the loyalty conflicts you faced, or the narrative you were taught. From their perspective, it looks simple. You just stopped coming around. They don't see the invisible forces that were at play. And sometimes, frankly, it is just easier for them to accept a simple story, "My child rejected me," than to grapple with the complicated, messy truth of what really happened. Accepting that their ex-partner actively turned their child against them is a profound and difficult reality to face. But here is the golden nugget I want you to hold on to. It was never, ever the child's responsibility to maintain that bond against the tide of alienation. A child's job is to be a child. It is the parent's job to be the parent, to be the adult, to pursue the relationship and to protect it. So if he blames you, please try to see it for what it is. His wound talking, not a reflection of your worth. It doesn't make his words hurt less in the moment, but it can help you reframe it and not internalize that blame. You were a child. The responsibility was not yours. This leads to another big question. What if the father is just waiting? How can you even tell if there's an open door? It's a delicate situation because you don't want to get your hopes up only to be hurt again. But sometimes there are subtle signs. He might leave small openings for contact. This could be a simple happy birthday text once a year. It could be a like on one of your social media posts. It might even be indirect, like a relative mentioning that he asks about you. These are little breadcrumbs, little signals that you are still on his mind and in his heart. Another sign is how he communicates. A parent who is waiting is more likely to avoid pushing or pressuring you. They understand that you need to move at your own pace. Their messages might be gentle, without demands for a phone call or a visit. They're giving you control, which is the opposite of the dynamic you experienced in the alienation. Notice the emotion behind his communication too. Is he expressing sadness or anger? A parent who expresses sadness over the lost time, "I've missed you so much," is often more open to reconciliation than a parent who expresses anger or blame. Where have you been all these years? Sadness speaks to the love and the bond that was lost. Anger often speaks to pride and ego. And finally, consistency. Even if he's quiet, is he consistently there in the background? Does he send that birthday message every single year without fail? That quiet consistency can be a powerful indicator that he hasn't given up hope. Of course, sometimes you just can't know for sure until you test the waters. It's scary, I know. But a gentle, low-pressure message can reveal a lot. Something as simple as, "I've been thinking of you lately," puts the ball in his court without any heavy expectations. His response, or lack thereof, will give you the information you need to decide your next step. Okay, let's flip the script. What about the other parent? The alienating parent. What would they say if they found out you were trying to reconnect with your father? This is the million-dollar question, and for many, it's the biggest fear holding them back. You can probably anticipate some of the typical responses. First, there's guilt tripping. After everything I did for you, after all the sacrifices I made, this is how you repay me? You're choosing them over me? This tactic is designed to make you feel disloyal and indebted, pulling you back into the old dynamic. Then there are the fear-based warnings. Be careful. You're just going to get hurt again. You don't remember what they were really like. This positions them as your protector, trying to save you from the other parent. It preys on your old fears and reinforces the negative narrative you grew up with. You might also face them minimizing your autonomy. They might say things like, "You don't really want this, you're just confused," or "Someone's putting these ideas in your head." This is a way of undermining your ability to think for yourself. It suggests you're not capable of making your own decisions as an adult. And of course, there's playing the victim. "I guess I don't matter anymore. Just go then. I'll be fine here, all alone." This is a classic manipulation tactic designed to make you feel responsible for their happiness and emotional well-being. Here is what you need to remember. These reactions almost always come from a place of deep insecurity and a fear of losing control. For years, they may have had a certain level of influence, and your decision to form your own opinion threatens that. Their reaction is about their fear, not about the truth of the situation. And most importantly, you are an adult now. You do not need anyone's permission to heal your own relationships. So, after all this, can you actually reconcile with an alienated parent? Is it even possible? My answer is a hopeful and resounding yes, if both sides are willing. Reconciliation is absolutely possible. It's not a fairy tale, and it's not always easy, but it happens every day. It can happen when the alienated parent shows openness instead of blame. When they can say, "I don't care about the past, I'm just so happy to have you back in my life," it creates a safe space for healing to begin. It can happen when you both allow space for messy emotions. There might be tears, awkward silences, and difficult conversations. Both of you need to give each other grace as you navigate this new territory. It's okay for it not to be perfect. And it happens when you rebuild slowly, brick by brick. You're not trying to recreate the past. You're building a new adult relationship. It starts with a text, then maybe a phone call, then maybe coffee. It's a gradual process of building trust and creating new, positive memories. Often, adult children discover that the parent they were taught to fear wasn't the monster they were painted to be. They were just a person, a flawed human who made mistakes, but who loved them deeply all along. And on the other side, so many alienated parents have been waiting for years, just aching for one small chance to reconnect. Reconciliation is not guaranteed. It requires courage from you and a receptive heart from them. But it is deeply, beautifully possible. And for many, it's the beginning of a whole new chapter, one of healing, understanding, and finally, peace. Thank you so much for watching and for allowing me to talk about this important subject. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content on healing and relationships. Take care of yourselves.